Imagine a life where you are consciously engaged as your divine self in every moment, living spiritually fulfilling relationships and embodying your soul gifts. Imagine a life where enlightenment or ascension was not a distant and confusing concept, but a real, lived possibility. Have you ever experienced a moment of divine rightness, where you expressed without intention or need, but just from a feeling of authentic pull to action? A moment where it felt like there was nobody here, except for a bright light flowing through and out of you. The world just seemed to click in around you, in resonant connection and magical synchronicity. What if that wasn't just a moment here and there, but your normal state of being?
My name is Richard West. I am a spiritual facilitator, and that really means that I support spiritual alignment in whatever situation I find myself in. That could be with people, it could be in nature, it could be with the spirit world. And it's not really something I do specifically. It's more just something that happens naturally when I am being who I am. And I created grounded mysticism as a tool to help people emerge into and really live their divinity. And this is through three focuses, three channels of inquiry: rebirth your divinity, relating your divinity, and living your divinity. The spiritual process can often feel a lot like death. I remember when I first moved to Austria from England, it felt like a lot of the identities which I'd built up over the years were really being ripped from me. I had no reference point from which to approach life anymore. And so I anchored myself in the only constant that I felt at the time, which was the pure presence within. And so over the years I emerged again and built up a life here despite a lot of pushback, a lot of judgment from the people around me. And this became my foundation for my spiritual process going forwards, which led to a lot of transformation in the years ahead.
If we are committed to walking the path of soul, it will lead us to these mini deaths. Many call it the dark night of the soul, but it's not just in these phases that you can transform your life. You can learn to die and be reborn each day in each moment. Then life becomes a constant wonder and adventure. Then one day, all that kept you small, insecure, dependent on reality being fixed, is no longer there. Instead, there's a constant flow of consciousness from the source within, which acts with a feeling of intuitive rightness through the body-mind. Until one day, the last release, physical death, which is no longer something to fear, but rather a natural celebration of transition. If this speaks to you, you can work with me individually through the custom Soul Alchemy program or through a Rebirth Your Divinity group workshop.
Even spiritual masters might admit that emotionally relating to others can be one of the most challenging vehicles of expression we might find ourselves in this lifetime. I remember when the relationship ended between me and the mother of my children some years ago. It was an extremely challenging experience for everybody. And so it became really important to me to do it as consciously as possible. And I noticed that even in times of heightened emotion, it was still possible to be in that center, to anchor myself in that place that is not affected by that, and yet still express myself authentically in the moment. I also noticed that it was possible to facilitate the situation, to facilitate alignment in it, both in the macrocosm between me, my ex, and my children, but also in the microcosm of what was going on in myself.
Relating your divinity is especially for you if you want to have spiritually fulfilling relationships where you are able to process all that comes up without losing yourself in emotional dependence. Get to know what's really being energetically communicated by those around you and how you can best respond to that. I offer individual facilitation sessions and longer programs along with various group workshops.
When we reach a certain point on the path, it becomes our heartfelt yearning to really live as we feel to be, connected with nature and the cosmos. However, society is really geared to suppress all that, keeping us in comfort and inertia. For me, the breakdown of my business a couple of years ago was a real turning point in that. I realized that the normal way of marketing and reaching people was really at odds with how my soul naturally, magically felt to create. And so it became very difficult for me to do that with fixed goals and intentions. It really felt like a suppression of the flow. And it was at that point that I really gave myself to the moment, creating from a place of being in the unknown and seeing what landed from there.
Living your divinity is about fully actualizing your soul in every moment. It's about thriving, centered in higher consciousness, but living grounded in the physical. Magic is real. It's when your life becomes a humble miracle as your soul gifts shine through as a lived expression of your being. If this speaks to you, I offer both individual facilitation sessions and Living Your Divinity group workshops. The spiritual path is one of constant breakdown and breakthrough. We're breaking down lifetimes of conditioning into a limited form of existence and expanding our spiritual channel in order to live the multi-dimensional being that is our birthright. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, it can feel draining, but the emergence into light makes it all worth it. If you're here, then you know deep down that that is what you're here for. In these times of great transformation, the old karmic construct of society is breaking down. The control system is wearing thin, but the light is breaking through more and more. Will you cling to the sinking ship, or will you choose to live your divinity?
personally, walking this path and knowing or feeling into what's to come, I find it pretty exciting. There's this sense of adventure about it, you know. Is there anxiety? Yeah, sometimes. You know, as you progress along the path, you get a much clearer sense of what sacrifices will be required of you. But it gets to the point where it's like, yeah, bring it on. Because you know that the alternative is limiting, it's stuck. I'd love for you to come and explore all of this with me. Let's learn from each other. Let's inspire each other. I look forward to connecting with you.